Hello and welcome to Read. Today I have a pretty easy video planned. I got some books at and around my birthday and I thought it could just be fun because counting the books that I bought for myself and then the ones that my loved ones got me, I got a pretty sizable haul, and so I thought I would just go through, show some of the books that I got, some of the ones that I'm planning on kind of introducing into my reading schedule this year that I originally hadn't planned, and one kind of very fun big one which I think, I hope a lot of you will enjoy, especially in light of my video talking about literary goals. The first book, these first three are the ones that I got for myself, and then after that it'll be books that were gifts. The first one is that I picked up Clarice Lispector's Too Much of Life. I just made a video on Lispector kind of talking about her story Preciousness, but basically spending 15 minutes just talking about her and how much I love her. And so I picked up this collection. I'm a fan of reading, non-fiction of the authors and like the fiction writers whom I enjoy. And somebody on Instagram, I'm sorry I can't remember your name, but he's committing to this year being reading only female authors, and so he's been putting up some extracts. He was reading this collection, and it just looks amazing. So the general idea or the premise, I believe, of this is that for about 10 years, from 67 to 77, Lispector worked as a kind of wrote for the country's press in Brazil. And this Too Much of Life is just extracts of the sort of vignettes that she released. And yeah, I haven't read anything of it, but I'm gonna hopefully dip in and out. The next up, this is I'm sorry if I don't pronounce his name correctly. Imere McBride. This is A Girl is a Half-Formed Thing, and so I don't know anything about this book except for two things. The first is that it was mentioned relatively frequently in David Collard's Multiple Choice book, and he was talking about how it was sort of Ireland once again feeling comfortable with releasing a avant-garde novel post Finnegan's Wake, which again, I haven't read this and I don't really know that much about Ireland, so I can't say that, but I thought that was an interesting enough sell on the book. But then a second thing, and something that's always going to draw me to a book, is that there's a whole bunch of one-star reviews on Goodreads saying that the book is too difficult to read. So basically an instant purchase for me. Don't know anything except that I read the blurb on the back and already hooked. I'm keen to read this pretty soon. And then next up, another non-fiction. This is Dan Charnas's Dill Time. So people will know I did study music, and even though I have a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth for some of the quintuplet swings that have become so ubiquitous in a lot of jazz and neo soul, a lot of the kind of origin and the root of these grooves comes from Jay Dilla. I got hip to this book. I feel like I had seen this, but it came back on my radar because a very great music video content creator, David Bruce, he's a British composer. He made a video on Jay Dilla, and so I was like, oh yeah, why don't I just pick up the book on Dilla's The Life and Times. So Dilla is also a little bit of a sad figure. He actually died on my birthday, so not my birthday. I think he died on my 7th birthday or something. But a very tragic story of a genius. Sort of unfortunately, I was the victim of rare blood disease, and he passed away. But Dilla's interesting. I think that people who there's an odd sort of parallel of Dilla making donuts on his deathbed and William Gaddis writing Agape Agape on his deathbed as well. And the reason that I made this connection is no coincidence. I was gifted William Gaddis's essays, The Rush for Second Place, and super keen because aside from his letters, which I've only periodically dipped into, Gaddis's essays and those letters are really sort of the last of his things that I have to read, and it's going to be a little bit sad. I've read all of his fiction, but it'll be nice to just soak a little bit more into Gaddis, and I've really been looking for reading his essay, The Rush for Second Place. A little bit of a actually, this is not a little bit. This is a humongous pet peeve that I have with book publishers. So this collection contains a lot of essays. It's very common for short story collections to contain different short stories aside from the title one, but it is always infuriating whenever publishers put the title of the book but not the title of the current essay on the top. So especially when that essay, the title of the book is one of the essays. And I just noticed it with this because I wanted to skip through to find it, but every single page just says The Rush for Second Place. So a little bit of a thumbs down in terms of general formatting, but I'm very keen to read Gaddis's essays because, Gaddis is my boy. Next up, I got the complete poems of Walt Whitman. This is, I think, now the third version of Leaves of Grass I own. I've only read the first couple of poems of Leaves of Grass, but I also have a really beautiful leather-bound version that my brother got me, and then my girlfriend got me this edition of the complete poems of Walt Whitman. It is cool because this also includes some of the appendix and just extra poems that I don't think were included in Leaves of Grass. But yeah, Penguins. And the good thing with Penguin as well is that you're also just getting a whole bunch of great notes at the end. Next up, this is a cool one. Anne Carson's autobiography of Red. So I don't really know that much about this. I've kept looking out for Anne Carson, or specifically for this book, but in the local bookstores, I had a hard time finding this book, and so I was sort of delaying or postponing getting anything else of hers. I did pick up and buy Eros the Bittersweet because it was a it's like an essay collection, or maybe it's just a general essay or thesis, but I was very I'm really keen now that I have this because I don't know that much about it, but I just know that it comes highly recommended from a lot of Instagrammers, a lot of content creators. I believe Chris Via at Leaf by Leaf has talked about Anne Carson, but also Shay by the Shore is an Instagram account, and she was reading and showing some extracts from Autobiography of Red. That's made me pretty interested to pick it up. So thank you again to my partner for the gift. Next up, the GOAT, Zade Smith's The Fraud. The only thing that I regret about this is that it's going to be probably a while before I read it because I'm going to read, all of Smith's work kind of in a row. But I like that this is a kind of large edition. It is a chapter book, and it's set in 1873. And something I love that about Zade Smith, where she would just say I'm just writing a book in the Victorian era, and while balancing the fact that she has 2 kids and a family life now, she's just an all-round goat, and I love Zade Smith. So keen to go through and keep reading her stuff. One of the last books that I got is John Fosse's Septology, and this is for those following the literary world. You'll know that Fosse just won the Nobel Prize. So this is maybe a little bit of a spoiler for probably 1 or 2 videos in the future, but right now I'm reading Beckett's trilogy, his novels, and I'm just reading that and then going through and looking at some of the writing in this. I'm just I'm glad that I read Beckett first before I've started reading this. I talked about this, but I made a maybe similar mistake of reading Bartleby before reading Beckett, and now that I'm reading Beckett, so much is just unlocking for me that I can't believe it. I'm so happy. But I'm nearly finished with Malloy, and then I'm going to go through and read the rest of them, maybe intersperse some other books in between so I can make some videos. But I know I am going to make videos separately of Malloy, Malone, and Malloy, Malone Dies, and The Unnameable. The last book that I got is a big book. It's a very big book, and I know that I said in at least in a Instagram post, but maybe also in a video, I know I said that one of my goals for this year was to read the Abridged Mahaba, along with Anatomy of Melancholy, The Second Sex, and also The Golden Bow. However, the absolute unit that is my grandmother decided to buy me the complete unabridged translated Mahabharata at a whopping 5,000 pages, and so now I don't know. I'm do I read maybe 2 or 3 of these books this year? Realistically, trying to calculate, I could read the whole thing this year, but maybe I want to sort of drag it out and let it go on for as long as possible. But yeah, I just couldn't believe it when I saw this like giant log of a thing. I thought, it's a little bit weird because for my birthday, it's I pretty much said, just get me books. That's all I really want or I'm looking for. And so it's, I just saw this giant unit and I was like, surely this is not a book. But then I opened it up and it's, the complete Mahabharata. So eternal badassery, and thanks to my grandmother for gifting this collection to me, and it might rearrange it. I said that I was going to read the unabridged Mahabharata like in my 40s, but now that it's a little bit earlier than that and I actually have it in my hands and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I could probably read 5,000 pages in the next year or two. So that's the last of the book haul that I got for my birthday. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if there's any of these that you have read and that you like, because obviously all of these books are new to me, and if there's anything I should maybe prioritize or bump up on the list. Again, thanks for watching. This is kind of fun, easy video, but I just wanted to give you some updates on my bookshelf, and yeah, I'll see you all in the next video.